There we go.
There we go. Thanks.
Yeah, I got a little thrown off with my telephone here.
Yeah, that's fine.
But that's why we have backup crew.
Yeah.
Okay, so where was I? Next, any committee members have any announcements or anything they'd like to make? If so, please indicate. Let me know.
I would.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just, my usual saying, Coastal Commission has told the county not to accept any coastal development permit applications for filing that cannot demonstrate whether they have legal access to both sustainable water source and wastewater treatment services. And that's due to the fact that they have not done the community plan, the LCP hasn't been updated. And also they said, to be clear, such applications should not be accepted for review unless and until such water and wastewater issues are available for use, as availability of these public services reflect a fundamental prerequisite for considering proposed development. And they're also talking about intensification of development. So thank you.
Yes, okay. Thank you. Anyone else have, any board members have any comments or questions or they'd like to say? Okay, then moving along, this time for the public here to make any comments, not for any item not on the agenda. If it's on the agenda, please don't either wave your hand, send up smoke signals, use a pigeon carrier. Let us know that you'd like to say something and we'll try to find you here. I'm not seeing any indications. Anybody else?
Oh, there's
seeing
Patrick.
anyone?
Patrick just raised his hand.
Oh, okay. There's Patrick asked to unmute. Okay, there you go, Patrick.
Thank you. I'm a little behind also. I'm trying to find something. So what I wanted to read tonight was a few things dealing with the Title 23's definition of homestay. So a homestay shall be established only in existing single-family dwelling. So that means a homestay has to be attached to the house or part of the house. And the very bottom part of this whole definition is about violations of homestays. And it says it is unlawful for any person to use or allow the use of property in violation of the provisions of this section and to advertise a use that is in violation of this section. The penalties, including fines and process for addressing a violation of this section, are set forth in Chapter 2310 of this title. And then it goes on to say that for the purpose of this section, advertise shall mean any form of communication, promotion, or solicitation in any medium, including but not limited to print, signage, internet, website, post, intended to induce the use of property in violation of this section. So that was just something about homestays. And then of course, we have the same thing with dealing with, dealing with the guest house requirements. And of course, guest houses shall not be designed to contain or accommodate cooking or laundry facilities, and they are independent from principal residence as a dwelling unit for rent. So you can't rent a guest house either. All right, so those are just two things I wanted to clarify. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrick. Anybody else? Questions or anything? Let's see. There we go. Okay, so moving along, approval of the minutes. We had to go back to our July 3rd meeting. to get those minutes approved because there were some corrections that were updated. Is there a motion to accept these minutes?
I'll move
Motion
okay. There's a bunch of us.
Everybody.
Motion to accept the minutes from July.
Okay.
I'll second.
And Lindy, I saw you second that. Okay. All in favor, raise your hand.
Aye.
Take that
Aye.
as majority.
Aye.
Take that as the majority. Everyone's there doing it. Next, we have the minutes from our August meeting. We're catching up on these. Anyone like to make a motion to approve our August meeting, our August minutes?
I will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the August Land Use Committee meeting.
Thank you, Jacob.
I'll second.
Thank you, Lindy. All in favor, signify by letting us know.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Take that as unanimous, approving the minutes. Good. And then moving along to our items on the agenda. The first item we have is a vacation rental. And Mr. Sullivan, there's Dave and Lisa. I'm going to ask you to unmute here.
Hi.
There we go. Hi. So would you like to give us a real brief description? I mean, it's written here what you want or asking for.
Sure.
Yes, we are requesting a minor use permit for our single family home. It's about 1,500 square feet to be able to use it as a vacation rental when we are unable to be here.
Okay, that's short and sweet. Thank you. Any board members have any questions or comments about this project?
Well, I have one question. Has this been used as a vacation rental in the past? And if so, have there been any issues with it, with the neighbors?
It has
No.
not been used as a vacation rental in the past. We've
We're-
done long-term rentals and we haven't had any issues with those.
Okay,
Our property manager, who will be the point person, lives next door.
oh, good, great,
She is one of the neighbors.
yeah.
Okay, Cindy, I see you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I just, a curiosity question perhaps, is how often would you expect to not be there and be using it as a vacation rental?
Well, it kind of depends. My mother doesn't live in the area and I spend a lot of time helping her. She's elderly, so it just depends.
About 50, we spend about
Yeah.
50% of our time here.
Right,
and then-
currently, yeah,
Yeah.
about 50%.
Okay, thank you.
But Lindy, was that
That was that was
answers
what I just was, my curiosity was. So.
okay? Yeah, I was glad to hear you answered the first question of your property manager being right next door, so that if there ever were any issues or comments, your property manager is real close.
Yes, very
That's-
conveniently located.
Yeah. Anybody else on the board have any questions or comments about this project?
No.
Okay, I'm going to open this up to the public now. Any public members have any questions or comments about this vacation rental on 9th Street? I'm not seeing any hands up. Okay. Anyone like to make, one of the board members like to make a motion for this project?
I will. I move.
Go ahead, Julie.
I move that we recommend this be on the LOCAC consent agenda. at the meeting of
Okay.
the 28th.
28th, okay. Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second.
Okay, Jacob, thank you for seconding. By a show of hands, all those in favor of this project,
Aye.
vacation rental?
I,
Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's hope it's unanimous, then it goes on the consent agenda. Anyone opposed? Might be an easier question. I don't see anyone opposing the project. Project has the support of land use to go on the consent agenda at the LOCAC meeting. Dave and Lisa, on the 28th, you'll be notified about this. There's a LOCAC meeting, our general counsel. This item has been requested to go on their consent agenda. It would be nice if you signed in, just in case anyone had any questions or anything.
Okay, sounds good.
Does it sound good to you, though?
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Yeah, so at that meeting, and again, they'll send you a link and stuff to it, and hope to see you then, and good luck on your vacation rental.
Thank you very much, everybody. We really appreciate it.
thank you.
Night.
Yeah. Okay, the next project we have here is Keith. I'm not sure who's
Shalene.
Shalene is here.
Lean.
She's now muted.
Uh,
Now she's unmuted.
Shalene
I
is
unmuted now.
unmuted. Hi, would you like to give us a brief description of your project here and what you're asking for?
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Hi, guys. I'm Shalene Keith. We live on Mitchell Drive, and we have a half acre. And we are adding on because my son and his soon-to-be wife, fiance, is living with us, and we're on top of each other. So we are adding on. We had our ARC report, we had our biology report, our brow report, our soils report, and all negative. No snails.
That's a good sign, no snails.
Expensive
Okay.
report.
Okay. Any of the board members have any questions or comments about this project? Molly Brown?
Yeah, I guess all I have here in my attachments is just a map of the property, but is it just a one-story addition?
Yeah, it's 1-story addition. It's on the northeast corner of our property, away from the water. And so yes, we meet all the requirements. I had a pre-application meeting in January with planning and with building, and it was a long meeting, and we went through everything that I needed to get. And so I have 2 will serve letters. I have everything. I mean, I went through everything. And so I didn't even submit until I had it all checked off. So.
Yeah. And is your the property directly to the east of you, right next door, is that an empty lot with a big shed on it or something like that?
That's the garage.
Is that part of your property?
Oh, no, the barn.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not ours. That used to be Pandora.
But that's your next door neighbor, is basically an empty lot with kind of an large outbuilding on it, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Okay, and yeah, I don't really have any other questions. Thank you.
Becky, I see your hand is up, and then Lindy, I see your hand is up too.
Yeah, I had a
Becky,
question. Yeah, maybe for people, if they haven't seen the plans, could you explain like how many square feet this is and how big your house is currently?
Our house currently is, I think, 1267. We're on top of each other. We're adding 1995. we're extending our bedroom out to a music room, and then we're adding a bathroom next to our bedroom because my husband's 72 and it's just, we don't have to walk over there. And then we're adding a den and 2 bedrooms and another music room. We're musicians. My husband was the music director at the Los Osos NAS for 10 years. So, anyways, that's that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, I have one more.
Molly, wait, Lindy
Okay.
was next.
Sorry.
Lindy?
Hi, Shalene.
Hi, Lindy.
I looked over, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay. I looked over the plans because it's more than doubling in size, and that's always a concern. Maybe you can explain it to me. It looks like it's a completely an add-on with one entrance to one part of the new addition, or yeah, the new addition. I don't have the
No,
plans in front of me.
No, there's
And a
Adam's
second
little-
door. There are 2 doors, two entrances in the front. So one enters into what almost looks like a separated area, except for a couple open doors to the existing.
Well, the
and it's a
existing,
little,
yeah, we have French doors coming from the existing bedroom to the den. We have a door that you can walk in from the front, so my son doesn't have to walk in on, through our door. But and then we have 2 doors, a double French door on the south end from our extended bedroom into the music room. So there's doors all the way around our whole place,
yeah,
so
yeah, no, lots of
there's
doors, but
double French doors.
I'm just concerned that there are 2 front entrance doors. So one enters one side of the house and one enters the other side of the house, as if it was 2 dwellings. So,
Well, it's not 2 dwellings. We just don't want him on top of us. Easter time, we literally, I had to go to the bathroom so bad. We have 1 bathroom. I had to go to the bathroom so bad. It's just hard, living with everybody here. It's a very, very small little bungalow, beach bungalow. And we're just, my husband, we need his help here. My son wants to stay here. I love my son. He's had, this is near here or there, but he's had 4 brain surgeries. We need him here. We love him. And so we want, we want him to stay forever. And he does too. And his, future wife does too. So it's beautiful. I mean, who gets that?
not many people. So I have some ongoing other things. What is the use of the existing cottage right now?
It's in 2018, August 10th, we were we went to hearing and we were permitted for homestay vacation rental, whatever. And so in 2018 we had the house up for sale because we had been trying to get a vacation rental here for several years. It wasn't as easy. Praise the Lord for the guys before me. That was amazing. I'm so glad that you guys support that, because for us, the owner helped us buy. We've been in ministry. The owner helped us, so we don't have, whatever. So the owner helped us buy in the intent of us getting a vacation rental so we could pay our mortgage. And so for us, we worked years and years trying to get that permit. And so then we put our house up for sale because we can't afford to live here in the Central Coast on our budget. And then we finally got the homestay permit. And so we were able to take the house off for sale. And we have 2 people on premise, couples that come. We're only allowed 2 people, no kids, nothing. And they come, we give them peace. And I tell them this, I give them a little 10-minute tour. We're peace, and they help us pay our mortgages so we can continue to share this amazing spot. And they're so grateful, because who is able to come here in the middle of a bird preserve and enjoy it? So it's a win-win for everybody.
Another question I had is, you have a whole new laundry room set up for the for the addition while you're keeping the existing laundry room. So that again
Well,
makes
we're
it,
not keeping, no, it's where the existing laundry room is. We have a
Oh.
little alcove right there. So we're just taking one wall down and making it bigger because, you know, my husband's the laundry guy. My son helps us clean the cottage, and my son and I, you know, manage and clean the cottage. And so my husband does laundry and it's cramped. You know, it's in this little spot where we have to walk towards the laundry to go to the bathroom, and it's just ridiculous. All the laundry's on, it's just ridiculous. So we're cramped.
well, again,
So
back to the loop.
we're not doing a new laundry. We're just making it.
The plans show a new laundry with stackables, a very small one, but it's off of the.
Yeah, that's for my son, so he doesn't have to come in here, and it got approved by water. I told them about that. I just said it would be nicer if they could, when, you know, the water usage isn't going to be changed because he does his laundry here. I don't want him to be on top of us. I want them to be able to, you know, we're sharing a kitchen already. We're, you know, sharing that bathroom already over there, you know, but at least he doesn't have to come over and do his laundry. He can feel like he's a human being and an adult, you know. So that's it.
In the den area, again, which is part of these very large expansions of space, you have a wet bar. So that is something of concern to us because those can turn into kitchens, basically. You have a guitar closet with a door that goes outside only.
No, the guitar, it doesn't go outside. It's just from
The blueprint does.
no, that door is where the little stackable is. And then there's a door from my bedroom, my extended bedroom, so we can put in our guitars. We have guitars hanging all over our house. We have probably 16 guitars. So we need a guitar closet. We need a music room. We do music every single day. I live with music. I love music. It's great, but it's a lot.
And another concern was that the new bathroom next to, so you've got one existing bedroom and you're making another extra sized bedroom as an extended bedroom, it says, and it has a new bathroom with no entrance to the bedroom. The bathroom enters into what looks like a foyer to the bedroom and the dining room.
Yeah, it's just going to be a door there. It's right next to I'm in my bedroom right now. It's right here, right next to me. So all I want is so my husband doesn't trip. My girlfriend's husband tripped and didn't live. So all I want is so my husband can go out the bedroom into the bathroom and then come back, because we go to the bathroom a lot every night. It's a lot, you know.
Thanks for sharing.
Well, we're older, getting older.
Well, I'm just concerned that it seems like it's more than just adding space for your son and his fiance to live. It looks like it's you're adding in a lot of other space. And a lot of our concerns is about water use, so that doesn't affect water
none
use.
of the water use is changing at all with our family.
Not when you're cramming extra people into your house and then, you know,
who's
coming
cramming? I don't know what you're talking. We're not cramming anybody. My son is going to live here forever, and his fiance. And we live here
earlier said that you were on top of each other.
Pardon?
You earlier said that you're doing this because you're on top of each other. So
yeah, right. So right now we're on top of each other, and it's hard. You know,
there are a lot of people in Los Osos, so I'll leave it at that, though. Thank you.
Okay, so we are not allowed to you know, expand. I mean, this is everything. This is all of our savings, and we're, you know, we have a half acre of land. We're not, I mean, I'm abiding by everything. I did a pre-application meeting. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I'll leave my comments to myself and let you guys, the rest of it, you talk about it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Molly, you had a question?
Yeah, I guess, well, I was just wondering if maybe Lindy didn't have the most current floor plan, I'm not sure, but I couldn't seem to find my record of the actual application. Mine just has a map, but no details with it. So, oh, the other question I had for the applicant was just, is the roof line gonna be similar to what the roof line is of the home now?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
It's gonna look exactly the same. And I called Lindy and Patrick a month ago or whenever, when I knew we were gonna do this, and I offered to send them the plans, and you know, I'm very transparent.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
had one other question. It says that it's going from a 2-bedroom, 1-bath to a 5-bedroom, 2 baths, and you talked about 2 bedrooms. Is it 5 bedrooms or?
Well, we're extending my bedroom. Maybe they're, you know, so that's my bedroom we're extending. And then there's a bedroom and an office and my son's bedroom.
And a music room and yeah.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
literally we play a lot. We record, he's going to do a recording studio there. We're doing a recording, you know, I mean, we do a lot of music and it's a lot, and we need space to do that. We have, you know, we have band, my husband has a band called the Chris Keith Band. My son's in it. I mean, we're a big, wonderful family that works together. So we just need a little more space, and we have been doing it here in our bedroom. I mean, I had the whole band in my bedroom for 3 years during COVID, and it just, you know, it's a lot. And we love music, and people love, we have 6 Nashville produced CDs, you know, which is amazing. So.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Okay. Any other board members have any questions or comments about this project?
I have my hand up.
Becky, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, all of it's very understandable what you want to do. And I'm sorry the county is not clear with people in telling them what the Coastal Commission has demanded that they not do. They're doing this to a number of people. The Coastal Commission has said not to do intensification of properties. And it has to do with the water and with those issues. It's not what you want to do or who you are. It's what Coastal Commission has demanded of the county. So
well,
I just
you said earlier that you have to have, the Coastal Commission is demanding those will serve letters. Well, I got both of those will serve letters.
Yeah, that's not what it is. There was just something before Coastal Commission, and they said a will serve letter does not prove that there's sustainable water supply or that they can legally. You guys are already hooked up to the sewer, but
yeah, we're hooked up to sewer. We're not changing our water usage.
Right. I'm just saying that's what Coastal Commission says, and they're talking about intensification, and it could be one person living in there and then over doubling the size of their house, and Coastal Commission says no, it's not us making it up. That's what the
I'm
Coastal.
not saying you're making it up. I mean, we all are trying to abide by all the rules to get,
Right.
You know, here. We love Los Osos. Los Osos is our home. I repurpose everything. If you come down here to the Cuesta
Right.
Inlet,
But that's
you see
not.
our house. No,
Yeah.
I know. I'm just saying we're very conservative in everything. We don't have a lot of money, and this is, you know, so we're very conservative in everything, in our water use and everything. So nothing's changing in that. You know,
Right.
we love
And
Los Osos. just
no
like you
one-
guys love Los Osos.
Right. I'm just saying no one, and myself, I'm not questioning that. I'm
Okay.
just stating what the county has been told numerous times by the Coastal Commission, and then people get these permits and then they're appealed to the Coastal Commission, and the Coastal Commission says no. And so it's sad that the county isn't upfront about what actually is happening. And I just wanted you to know that it's not. I don't know how much water you use. I suppose you're conserving like most people here in town, and I appreciate that. I just wanted to be clear what the Coastal Commission is saying.
All I know is I did a pre-application meeting. I did with county, with planning, so I would abide by every single rule, that I would dot
Right,
my
right.
I's.
And
because
I'm
I
saying that the county is going ahead and doing that and making people think it's going to be all okay. And then it gets appealed to the Coastal Commission. So that's not on you. That's on the county for not being upfront with people. And I find that sad. And because your plan sounds great. And I love music too.
And,
Yeah,
and why would it get appealed to the Coastal Commission?
Because basically everything like this is getting appealed to the Coastal Commission, because Coastal Commission has said no intensification of use on properties like that. And
Becky, you've made your comment. The county has also responded to the Coastal Commission's letter.
yes, they have. But who has, is it the judicial body? You know, it's not decided yet, and the coastal development plan is not done, and the community plan is not done, and the habitat plan is not done. That's on coastal too. All this stuff needs to come together first, and it hasn't. So I'm just stating what's going on.
Okay,
Well,
that's it. Lindy, go ahead. You've got your hand up.
Yeah, I just, to clarify a little bit more, the size of the extension and the additional, having your children, your son and a new wife and maybe children in the future, is setting that house up to be able to take extra people. And that's what we look at in our decision about whether this is, to me, anyway, many people have financial issues also and live on top of each other. So the idea that this extension is almost 2,000 square feet to a 1,200 square foot home is
well, there's a lot of houses around here that use the same water usage that are over 3,000 or 3,000 square feet.
The potential to have other people living in
Well,
the
we're
house.
living here
Lindy,
forever.
and could we keep this just to questions and comments and not get into
Yeah, no, I was just trying to explain
a
where
discussion
water
back and forth?
usage could increase.
Okay.
Thank you.
So any other questions from the board members? I'd like to make one comment nobody's brought up yet, and it probably doesn't even get answered here, but I'm concerned about the tsunami zone that they've gone around town marking it, you know, the dangers if we do have a tsunami, which is possibly in the future, and also global warming and sea level rise. That peninsula that this house is going to be expanded on is a very precarious, you know, a few more feet of sea level rise.
Okay, so across the street, directly across the street, the shelters built.
I know houses have been built.
3 doors down they built. And when we had the tsunami from Japan, it didn't do anything here. And when we had all of the floods all around us, and you know, we didn't flood at all. I mean, we have never flooded here at all.
Okay, I'm not questioning you or anything else. I'm just stating
Okay,
it for the record.
It's
my concern. It's my concern about all the properties built on the low part of the bay here, you know, and the future and what's going on. I'm going to open this up to the public. Are there any members of the public that have any questions or comments about this project? Or Julie, I see you've got your hand up there.
Yeah, I did.
Go ahead, Julie.
I just wanted to, you know, the issues that Becky brings up, that is an old letter. The county did respond, but in more recent times, projects that have gone to the Coastal Commission, you know, there hasn't been that much going there, but what has gone there has been found substantial issue. But in the staff report, it talks about how the county and the Coastal Commission are working together right now and hope to have their differences or discrepancies and interpretations or whatever are all going to be worked out by the end of the year. So I'm inclined to, and we'll get to this with the motion, but support the project and let the Keiths go forward, because by the end of the year, it won't even be at the Board of Supervisors, just the way the calendar's booked. So it's going to take a while to get to coastal, even if it's appealed. It's still got a ways to go. So, and if Coastal Commission is saying that this is all going to be ironed out and they'll have some resolution, some solution by the end of the year, I think moving the project forward is just fine.
Thank you, Julie. Again, other questions or comments? I'm going to open it up to the public. Any public member have any questions or comments about this project?
Can I say one more
Patrick,
thing?
Go ahead.
We also have about 13 support letters from our neighbors on Mitchell Drive and around Cuesta Inlet, or Cuesta by the Sea. That's all. Thank you.
Good. Yes. Thank you for that. Patrick, go ahead. I don't think you're muted.
No, I'm not. Thank you. So just a full transparency here, because Shailene did talk to me for quite a long time, as I've talked also to Andy Knighton in detail about things. This is a wonderful project, and they are wonderful people. Unfortunately, we do have code right now, and there's issues with code dealing with this property. And then also,
what do you mean by code? What code?
Okay, let me just finish talking, and then you can ask questions, please. So
Sorry.
we have code. There are county codes, and we'll discuss that. This is a very unfortunate situation, and I agree with Becky that the county has a lot to do with it, because they have led people on thinking that, they can do these projects, and then they do get to the Coastal Commission. Whether they get appealed outside the Coastal Commission or not, the Coastal Commission does take on their own appeals sometimes, and I suspect this might be something like that. In this information packet that we got regarding this project, there was a letter from the Coastal Commission that advised the applicants to look at the letter that the Coastal Commission sent, so they would know how the Coastal Commission feels about projects like this. And that is something that I think pretty much confirms the fact that this isn't a project that the Coastal Commission is going to be looking at favorably at this point. Becky was very true about what the Coastal Commission is saying is far, and so is Julie. The Coastal Commission thinks we're going to have the community plan finalized by the end of the year, but it's been a long process. We don't know how long it's going to be. There's a lot involved in doing that. It's also going to be changing the whole LCP, which is going to be a big project in itself. So this project, though, is one that I think needs to wait until that happens. And Julie may be right. It might happen at the end of the year, and even if this gets appealed, it might mean nothing, because by that time, things might be all open and we might already have a growth management ordinance and everything else is in operation. One of the things that I'm going to talk about as far as code goes dealing with this property is the cabin or the cottage. This is a licensed homestay. And as I discussed earlier, homestays have to be attached to the main house. This is not. It can't be a guest house either, because it is being advertised. Homestays can't be advertised.
Patrick, excuse me here. We're talking about this permit, not about.
We're talking about, right. So what my suggestion is because what they need is they need more room in their house to accommodate their son and future daughter-in-law, that they use their cottage, which is being used illegally right now, to house them.
Okay.
It'll have a bathroom in it, and it has everything else it needs.
Okay, we put the house up for sale before we got our permit because we cannot afford to live on the Central Coast because we are, my husband's a music arts pastor. He works at church. So we spent 5 years getting our permit, here, or a lot of years getting our permit. We passed Title 23. We went to the hearing. We got approved in 2018 on August 10th. We are a permitted homestay. We have been paying our taxes every, on and on and on. So I mean, and I can't if I send my kids over there, then we have to sell our house. I mean, if ever this was a beautiful, I mean, we support the community. I have a list of food. I mean, we have all of our people go and eat and support, we support our community wildly and hugely. We just had a surfer, James from Cayucas, come and ask if we can put our cards in there. We the gondola guy, we all of the food. They go out and eat all the time, 3 times a day, because we don't have an oven or we have a kitchenette. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing for our family. And we worked very hard and we got our approval. We're not in violation at all. I talked with Carrie, I talked with Andy. We're not in violation at all. We are a permitted,
Yes,
we have a hearing permitted.
We're getting off topic here, and I'm sorry Patrick went down that road. He can make a comment, and then that's it. I don't want to get into this rebuttal stuff back and forth.
Thank you. I don't either.
That's not us here. Yeah. Okay.
I just want to move the right way.
Yeah. So anyone else have any questions or comments about this project? Okay. Anyone like to make a motion about this project? Well, if no one else makes a motion about it, I'd like to move this project on to LOCAC, have it put on the regular agenda, and open it up to any further public comment or LOCAC comment periods, and then move it back to the Planning Commission with those ideas and thoughts and stuff added as input onto this project.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay. So all in favor of this motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Somebody give me a head count. Do we have a majority or?
Larry, Julie,
unanimous?
Jacob, Molly. That's 4.
Okay. So I'll take that as a majority, that we move this on to LOCAC on their September 28th meeting. We will inform LOCAC of what went on here discussion-wise. Shalene, we'll send you or LOCAC will send you a notice and a link for that meeting.
The
And
minutes.
again, pardon?
The minutes.
Somebody.
It's Shalene. They're going to send you an agenda for September 28th. And you have to kind of go through this again.
Yeah.
With the full LOCAC.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. And thank you very much for your participation here tonight. We know it's a difficult ordeal sometimes, and we don't mean it to be that way.
Yeah. Every
but
time.
people have thoughts and ideas.
I'm strong and I
and
have perseverance, and I'm doing the right thing, and I will continue to stop I'm doing the right thing. So I will continue to do that with everybody.
Okay.
That's my purpose,
Okay,
and that's my goal as a family.
Yes, we appreciate that very much, and thank you very much for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Moving on to our next project, Keith. No, this is the project after that. No, Rayanna,
Marion?
Marion, Marion. I
Ryan,
thought I saw
Oh,
him.
Ryan,
can you hear
there.
me?
Ryan. Yes,
Hello.
welcome.
Good evening, and thank you
Yeah.
for having us on the agenda tonight.
Good. You want to give everyone a brief description of your project, even though it's here, and tell us,
Certainly.
your-
Just for the committee members, the architect that I'm working with as well, David Einen, is on the call. I'm going to defer to him for some of the more, if there are any more technical questions about the design itself. But, long story short, I fell in love with the Central Coast, 25 years ago, the first time I came by. And, I'm a professional. My wife and I are both professionals. We live up in the Bay Area right now, but we're looking for where we want to retire and sort of spend our golden years. And, that's what this is. That's our goal. We came across this property in 2021, winter, spring of 2021, which is when we purchased it. And it came with a series of plans, which I believe were the 2015 version that we're seeing sort of 8 years ago. Unfortunately, the MUP for those plans and so those applications, we got one extension, but obviously that ran out before we were able to put anything into motion, which is why we're here in front of you today. The property is a single family home, likely going to be 2, maybe 3 residents there. One of my parents, they're getting on in age, but they may come and live with us, but that's what this is going to be. It's going to be my wife, my son. My wife and myself, we have one son who's in high school right now, and he may come visit us, once he goes to college and what have you. But our goal is to move there once he finishes high school and sort of complete our careers. We both work remotely for most of our time, and then retire there long term. So that's kind of the context. The property is about 4,000 square feet of living area. It's got a garage. It's a largish garage, but part of that is to leave me some room to putter around, which I don't have right now. We've got some outdoor living space, just in terms of decks, both on both floors, facing Morro Bay. Again, we're here for the environment that we're in, and so really we want to be able to enjoy the outdoors as much as we possibly can. Obviously, there's a lot of sensitivity on this lot, so beyond the built-up area, obviously most of that's going to remain native. So the deck will be our let's say means to sort of be outdoors on our property and not sort of disturb the environment any more than we absolutely have to. We're pretty much within the same footprint as the original permit that was approved. And let me pause there, David. Anything that I've missed that I should have mentioned?
Well, David Eining here, and been working here with this family to design this house for quite a while. And we did inherit a minor use permitted house, which was larger than the one we've ultimately designed. And the original house had a swimming pool, other amenities that we don't have. It had large patio areas in the lower area. And so we built or designed the house to fit completely within the existing, or the one that had been approved, area of disturbance. We also, of course, we had to redo the environmental studies that were originally done and passed with flying colors. We redid all of those. And again, we've found no endangered species or anything like that there. It's passed with flying colors. One problem we had, however, was there was I think a transition at the county level between the planner who was working with us and now the new planner who has taken over the project. And there was a tremendously long delay. And so it's been kind of an ordeal for us to get to this point. But it's a nice house, a large house in a neighborhood of large homes. And it's not really in Los Osos proper. It's way out of that area. but it is connected, of course, to the water system. And as basically a family of 2 to 3 people, it will contribute to that usage. And we understand that there is an ongoing discussion and debate about whether or not this sort of thing should be allowed at all. And we understand that we are involved in this discussion, and we're here just to, we've gone this far. We really feel that producing this one home for this family is really not the thing that makes or breaks any issues in the local area. The septic systems are way far away from the Bay Area, so there's really no issues with that. Environmentally, we've done every report, I think at least twice. And so, the house stands as what it is. And I feel the board here, they have their opinions about which way to go with this. And I don't know that any level of technical detail that I would give you would persuade anybody one way or the other. But if there is, I'd like to know what it is, because I probably know the answer. Again, we're happy to be having this meeting because, this is the first step in a process where this gets discussed amongst many people. And the house we are proposing was originally approved through the minor use permit process. Actually, it would be 4, and the one we are doing now is actually smaller, less intrusive. And if you look at the site plan too, you can see that the area where all the manzanita and the eucalyptus trees and all of that is greatly preserved. We're tucked up right near the street as best we can. And so we've done the best we can with what we have. And so if there's any other technical details or things like that you'd like to know about, please let me know. I think I can answer them for you.
Okay, thank you very much. Molly, I see you've got your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just had one question. I don't have the plan right in front of me, but I have just one question about any space. I know it's not really about the house, but about possibly having a bike lane going up through that area on HO in the future.
Yeah.
And if the property line is going directly to the street, or if there is an easement at the roadway, or what do you know about that?
Yeah, there's about 10 feet between the edge of paving to the property line. And
10 feet. What was that you just said?
10 feet from the edge of paving to the property line.
Okay.
Yeah, let me 10 feet, 8 inches. Okay. And so there is a letter discussing this from Elizabeth Kavanaugh, to Sean Cooper. I have to reinterpret this. Some of this stuff has been around a while. But to do a bicycle lane, you basically need 20 feet to accommodate that, because this involves having the whole entire roadway upgraded to what they call a standard A1D, which requires a wider road, wider shoulders, and then the bike lane. And it takes at least 20 feet to accommodate all of that. And of course, the way this really works, if you would have the topo to observe, to accommodate a bike lane off the edge of Pico Valley Road there, you would practically have to build a retaining wall all the way along that road and backfill it with a considerable amount. It's at one point, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 6 feet high retaining wall, just to give you that 10-foot of pathway along Pico Valley Road. And so where I'm getting at is it's structurally extremely difficult. I mean, just impossible, until at such time Pico Valley Road itself would be completely rebuilt to accommodate this access. According to the letter, traffic-wise, the road would theoretically possibly be funded for that sort of thing. but it's, you know, such a difficult task to widen Pico Valley Road in the first place. Forget the bike lanes, just doing what it should be done for a standard A-1D type road. Very problematical. I'm very unlikely it actually ever happen.
And
So,
is that anything that was ever discussed between you and the county transportation people?
well, it was just a couple.
Did they
of
bring it
letters.
up or
We
anything?
just had a series of letters about it because it was the
Oh.
parks. I think it was parks people who brought up the idea that we needed they were looking to get a 20-foot bike path. And of course, what they want is a 20-foot bike path all the way from Los Osos clear up to Montana de Oro and beyond, which, you know, is an admirable thing to want. But then the letter back here, I would have to say in his engineering style letter, sort of saying, yeah, but that's going to take a very great road improvement to be able to accommodate that. And right now, Pico Valley Road meanders within its right of way in such a way that that 20 feet is not available in many, many areas, this being one of them.
Yeah.
And again,
Okay.
there's nobody's against doing any of that. That's fine. But we currently, right now, between the asphalt road and the property line, there's only about a little over 10 feet, which could not accommodate a bike lane. And it's all on a slope, which means you could, to build a bike lane, if, let's say my client was to build a bike lane just for that 100 or so, you can see what the number is here, that distance of his property would just all be contained within a retaining wall and would be of no actual value. So
And
it's
do you, just one more clarification question. Do you mean you would need 20 feet on both sides of the road to do a bike lane on both sides?
That's center line of existing road plus easement. Let's see. Well, I don't really know. This is not conclusive in how he puts this, but I just know that, you know, if the bike lane is to be on this side, our house's side, it wouldn't have to be 20 feet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So it sounds like it's the bike lane is just a much bigger issue than this one project. So anyway, that was my only question about this project. It looks like a beautiful home.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from any of the board members? Lindy, I see you've got your hand up.
I had a few concerns, starting with habitat destruction. There are 8 native plant species that will be impacted, 13 bird species, brush rabbit, and 2 types of reptiles. It's also in a very high, it's considered high fire hazard area. It's definitely, and what happens often is once the house is built, then you are allowed to go in and remove the surrounding habitat that could be a danger to the home, which then means that possibly more than is currently expected or projected could have a possibility of being removed. So the expected water use was a typical single family residence. I don't know exactly what its typical family residence is, but 2.5 people, I think. So the idea of having such a large home, which would allow more people to visit and use the water resources, is one of my concerns. And then the entrance is not ideal. I think it's a very dangerous section of the road anyway. So I don't think the ingress and egress is ideal. It just doesn't lend to putting a house there. It's unsafe because it's at the top of the hill, blah, blah, blah. And then there was discussion about residential or business visiting professionals coming to use the extra space that's in the home. I hope I'm working off of the current one, which is not available on the website. County website is not showing the current one, but I looked at this maybe a month, 2 months ago when it first came up to us and we were going to look at it. So I think I saw the current stuff. There's a suggestion of 1,000 square foot of landscaping. Is water use additional to get that landscaping underway and so forth? I'm sure it will be drought tolerant. And then the last one was I guess my concern is that it's 5,486 square feet of buildings. That was listed on the permit. 2,084 square feet of paving, the 1,000 square foot of landscaping, and 4,160 total paving structures, which I did not know what that means. Basically, you'll be using over half of the lot, the half-acre lot, to build this house. So I'm just concerned that we're building houses in fire hazard areas and destroying habitat, which this house would lead to destroying more habitat in order to make it fire safe. So I would love to see it go down in size and not use all the lot to be removed in order to protect it from fires. I don't know if you have any comments.
Lindy, thank you for the concerns, and certainly appreciate where you're coming from. I'm not sure if I capture all of them. I try to listen. So with respect to the fire protection, the plans were submitted to CAL FIRE, I believe. David, correct me on this one. And essentially the setback is what is required by CAL FIRE, to prevent encroachment. Or to prevent sort of fire ladders. We've tried to keep it to the bare minimum possible. With respect, I'm going to jump a little bit here to this total square footage. They're not additive. So the 4,000 square foot of living area, the 1,300 garage, that's your 5,400 square foot of built up area. The additional 1,645 is an outdoor deck. So, and these, by the way, stack on top of one another. So, you're only displacing about 3,000 or 4,000 square feet of land for the 4,000 square foot house, because it's basically, it's a pancake stacked on top of one another, or two pancakes. The paved area is the driveway, and it's the only way we can safely get down from the road to the level of the house while having the house at a level that doesn't obstruct sightlines from Pecco Valley Road. So again, we try to keep that to the bare minimum possible. Certainly we can look at options to minimize that, but I think we've done what we can there. With respect to the water usage, all I can tell you is our intent is to live there. It's the two of us. Maybe my son comes to visit. Maybe my mom lives there for the few more years that she's got with us. Is it hypothetically possible that there's a ton more people that show up? Yes, but all I can say is this is intended as our retirement home. Make with that, as you will. I was a little confused about the visiting professionals. We don't intend to have anybody come visit us. My wife and I are working professionals. She's an attorney, I'm a consultant. We do a lot of our work from home. So, some of those rooms there are really set up for her and I to sort of take calls without sort of talking over one another. That's all it is. We certainly don't expect business visitors at all at our home. And I'm not sure if that's what that was your understanding or not, but I may have misunderstood what you said there. What have I missed? Oh, the driveway. I'm going to let David address that. We did take sightlines into account, and that was an active part of our conversation with the county in terms of making sure that there was enough in the way of sightlines for safe ingress and egress.
Yeah, from the original minor use permit application, this echoes that application's access to the road that they had, because it was determined to be the optimum position to go onto the road. Also, you might notice we have a back out situation with from the garage, so that when we drive out, we're not backing into Pico Valley Road. We can clearly wait to see if there's clear traffic and then go. That's as good as this can get, and it's really very. I've been there many times on the roadside working on the project, and never had a problem with oncoming traffic being sort of all of a sudden on you, but that's just one person's opinion. The project itself has a building envelope that's 32.3% of the lot, so it's not 50%. Part of that is allocated to the septic system, which once it's put in, will be landscaped. And a great deal of what we would label as landscaping for this project is going to be the replanting of manzanita.
That's right. I forgot to mention that. Thank you.
Yeah. And as far as the CAL FIRE clearance, we would be authorized to clear grasses. You might say the annuals that could dry up and become a hazard. But as far as, and there's really a lot of manzanita and other native brush there, which is really sacred. There's just no touching it. And it would be a huge violation to just clear that out. So that's certainly not, it's not legal. It's not the intent. And this house has a solid stucco exterior. It's as fireproof as a house can be. And directly across the street from this house is a fire hydrant. So unlike a lot of these more rural homes that rely on water tanks and that sort of thing, this has a very good location to the fire hydrant.
Well, I forgot to mention it. Sorry to interrupt, David. One of the points that you brought up, Andy, was about, potentially, taking more habitat once the house was constructed. There's actually I want to say it's 5 years, maybe longer, a 5-year sort of environmental monitoring plan that's attached to the conditions of our no-take concurrence permit from Fish and Wildlife. So, certainly there's going to be biologists coming on site to monitor the habitat around the property to ensure that, no additional habitat has been taken. I don't know how long they can extend that, but that's in the plans.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I think it's real good. Becky, I see your hand is there. You still got a question or something?
Yeah, I had a quick question. I only saw the original plans that had the pool and the spa, and I couldn't find the new plans. And when the only address I saw was that it's 0 Pecho
Road. It doesn't have a street address yet. It's only got the APN.
Okay, because when you go on to the EnerGov county thing, there's nothing there's nothing there. So where do we view the new plans?
Well, I think the county in a sense has dropped the ball on this. All of this should have been forwarded to you or all of you or anybody. And also, I don't quite know where they're at in the minor use permit process, and I don't really know their inner workings of when that gets somehow published on their website. But
and that's not unusual. There's been a lot of things that have disappeared off the county website when there used to be plans, and so I'm just wondering. Yeah, Larry, did get sent?
Dave,
yeah,
Dave, maybe you could send me the plans that I can distribute it to the members.
You want it right now or later?
Later, not tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll get that off.
Yeah, well, let's get the plans from the guy who designed it.
Okay.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Sounds good.
Yeah, Molly, I see you've got your hand up, and then Julie, I see you've got your hand up too.
Okay, so this is just about those plans. I thought, Larry, I thought we had been sent the more updated ones a while back.
That's what I thought too, and
Yeah.
I'll go through my,
I'll look through my email too and
yeah.
get it if I can find it.
I forget who was just talking, but she had most of the statistics correct as far as say like the total structure numbers. So somebody must have the right plan somewhere.
Well,
Yeah,
that's in the description here on the agenda.
Oh, I see. I see.
We have that.
but I
But,
do think that we saw them at one point, so I'll see if I can
Okay.
find them.
Can I just ask? Sorry to interrupt you, Julie, since I
Go
think
ahead, Jacob.
you're on the list. Is it DRC 2021-00142, right? That's the like county code name for this thing.
That's
Which one?
correct.
Application.
That's
Yeah, it
correct.
is 142.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That is available on the county website. You can search for that code number. That's how I got it.
Oh, okay.
I pulled it off of the agenda tonight and downloaded it like right before the meeting. So
Okay.
it's published.
Yeah.
Julie, I think
Julie,
you're
go ahead.
Great project. From my standpoint, I'd like to see some better visual simulations. Just because it's hard to imagine that there's no impact to the views. And then, you know, if it's not any larger than the last project, that's probably a good thing. I was really concentrating on the drive southwest up the hill and what we would see from that vantage point. I lived there across the street before there was a house. Someday you'll have to hear the stories behind that, but
Would love to.
in a tent
Oh,
before
on
that
that
house
slope.
before that house was built. We lived on
Poor
the
baby.
slab with a 9-month-old baby. Yes.
Oh, wow.
And just some for the habitat, if you want to look at some great restoration, what is behind that house, all that manzanita that's juvenile, it's not, you know, it's about 15 years old now, is doing beautifully.
Yeah.
The eucalyptus that were removed won't come back, but that because they are gone, those manzanita are thriving.
Yeah.
Some observations when we lived there: a lot of wind, noise from diesel trucks, odors from diesel trucks coming and going, lots of deliveries to the horse camp, the oh gosh, what's the kids camp out there? Camp Keep. And then certainly the campers with their various sizes of horse trailers and RVs, etc. Just so you know, you might think about that when you're putting in windows and other insulations. Just noise, wind, and odors. You can't believe how much odor. I was a little more exposed than you'll be, having been in a tent, but the serenity that you see is not so much when there's a busy weekend out there. I know people are going to be concerned about the water. It is a single family home. Yes, you can have visitors. It's hard to tell people that they can't have a baby, and they shouldn't be told that you're offsetting your use by the Title 19 retrofit program. You're required to do so. You're doing it at 2-to-1. So you'll break even at the least, but hopefully you'll save water over and above what you're using that program. I'm supportive of the project. It's a huge undertaking, and I'm sure you wanted this years ago. Acquiring the project that had a permit, it slipped away from you is very unfortunate. And having to go back through this process is tedious and uncomfortable. Very last thought, and I'll just be light here. It looks like, David, you might be a musician. I see a guitar in your background there.
I wouldn't call myself
I'm
a
a singer.
musician.
So good luck to you. When it comes time, we'll obviously open it up for public comment, but I'll be happy to make the motion go forward.
Thank you, Julie. Appreciate the insights.
Mhm.
Okay. Becky, I see you've got your hand up, and then I'd like to make a little comment.
Yeah, this just a short comment on the plans. I did click on the links that were in the agenda, and I just tried it again, and it doesn't. It says error.
I know.
Then it came up to some house on Tangerine Way in some other town, so I'm not sure what.
Yeah.
That's
It's
where I
not-
live right now.
Oh, okay.
That's
I can wait.
the
So
I
owner's
guess it was
address.
it because
So
I
you
looked
did get
at
it,
and I went,
Becky.
we're in the wrong town here. Okay,
Yes, indeed.
So
thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
we'll talk about that later. The struggles I had with
I-
the agenda.
Yeah. Well, the comment I would like to make, if this moves along like it should be, when it is time for the plans, I'd like to see, solar power somewhere.
Mhm.
I'd like to see, I guess it's called leads. I'm not sure of the design standards, but that it's well insulated and, doesn't consume a lot of energy and is one of the most water efficient houses, to be built in the area. I know all this comes later in the process, but I do hope you, and I suspect you will be, leaning in that direction to build
Indeed.
a state-of-the-art house.
Indeed, Larry. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Any other members have questions or comments? Otherwise, I'm going to open this up to the public. Lindy, real quick, let's go.
Yeah, I wonder if we shouldn't wait to see this again next month when we all have a chance to see the actual plans, because I couldn't find them either. I saw them earlier. And like I said, last time it was presented was 2 months ago.
It was in your email when the referral first came through. That's where you saw them.
Yeah, but
The link is.
I tried to open up the new link and it's not accessible, as Becky
Yeah,
mentioned.
Lindy,
so-
I'm going to recommend that we put this on the regular agenda to give people time to eventually find the right plans, so that it doesn't go on the consent agenda, but it just goes on the regular agenda, which will give you time for me to send you the
Correct.
legitimate plan.
Access,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Good on that. So any members from the public have questions or comments about this project? And Dave and Bev, I see you've got your hand up. Oh, asked to unmute. There we go.
Hi,
Go
can
ahead,
you hear
Dave.
me? It's Dave.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add to what Larry was saying about the state-of-the-art house. I think that if the plans showed fireproofing in the design of the house, that would be a good idea too, because we all know that it's just a matter of time until it burns around here.
No, thanks, Dave. Good input.
Well,
Appreciate
the
it.
house, of course, will mandatorily have solar panels. You can't do a new house without them. Also, of course, it'll be fully fire sprinkled, as would be mandatory with every house that's built. And it's a fully exterior stucco finish, which is about as fireproof as you can get. So we're pretty confident that it's going to be insulated to the highest standards. So it's going to be state of the art, as I think somebody mentioned.
Rain
Yeah.
recycling as well, or rain capture.
Absolutely. Actually, built one of those in this house with stuff from Home Depot. I imagine we could do a better job with new construction.
Okay, good. Anyone else from the public have any comments or questions about this project? I'm not seeing any hands up. Anybody seeing any hands up? Smoke signals, carrier pigeons? Nope. Julie, do you want to go ahead and make your motion?
My motion was going to be just what you described, Larry. I was going to say, let's recommend that this project be on the September 28th regular agenda of the full LOCAC. So that plans that you couldn't find can be found. I'll help you try to get them on the next agendas linked. I don't know why so much trouble this time. We can not Google, but do the search by using the permit number or the address to get us to the property, and then drill down to get to the plans. And when anybody has trouble in the future, please call me or Larry and we can try to guide you to it, because I did everything I could that I could not make those links work this time.
Okay. Okay.
So that was a long-winded motion.
Okay. Do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
And a short version of it, it goes on the regular agenda at LOCAC, just so people can get the proper plans and look at them and put in any further comments they might want to do. Sarad, you've got your hand up.
I do, and I apologize for interrupting the proceedings. I did notice that Jacob put the link into the chat for the plans, and that link actually does work. And certainly if there's anything that we can do in terms of materials that you're looking for that may not be in those, please do let us know. We'd be happy to try to do what we can before the 28th.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Jacob knows how to do that fancy stuff. Some of the rest
I'm
of
going
us
to call
don't.
Jacob next time I have trouble.
There you go.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Now you're in for it, buddy.
I know,
Okay.
I'm hearing that.
So all in favor of the motion to move this project forward?
Aye.
For one support. Do you have a unanimous or anyone
I'll just abstain.
abstain? Okay, so we
too.
don't have,
Me too.
okay, we don't have unanimous, so we do have majority. And so Dave and Sarhad, this is going on the LOCAC January 28th meeting, Zoom meeting, same time. It'll go on their regular agenda, and then the folks that had some questions or weren't able to see the plans will have the right link to the plans, and we'll be able to see them, and if they have any further questions. But we think it's a good project, good for Los Osos. The bike path, I heard, is part of the corridor, the Los Osos Valley Road corridor, that they want to see a bike path all the way through to Montaña de Oro. How they're going to accomplish that is another question. But I did see, it's in the plans, it's there, and
Let me politely voice my excitement for that as a bicyclist and move on.
yeah, Jacob, the problem is that once you get to Montaña de Oro, it goes back to the little 2-lane road.
I was battling BMWs with my elbows last time.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll see you back then, the end, at the LOCAC meeting, the 4th Thursday of the month. And good luck with your project. We'd like to see it continue on.
Well, thank you very much to everyone for the input and the recommendations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Jacob, don't get off this call. I want to ask you some questions.
And any the board members, this is our time for shop talk or anything, have anything we need to talk? Jacob, if you're going to be a little more handy on,
Well,
we're having problems with the agenda and connecting it to
the links,
links and stuff.
which
Yeah.
that is the exact same link,
I know.
but why
So,
isn't that working?
because county planning uses a hash in their address. If you see it in the one that's in the plain text of the agenda, that little self-service hash, that hash was not, we'll say, transposed correctly. And so it breaks it works, it looks like a link, your browser reads it as a link, et cetera, et cetera. When you get to county planning's website, the website doesn't know what to do with it because it's not formatted perfectly.
I need to use a smaller font to fit it all on one line, or what?
Are you preparing these in Word or
Yes.
like Google Docs or something? Word? Okay. And you're like selecting the text and doing insert link?
There's a little,
I don't know what
how
that thing
about
is
you and I
called these
talk
days.
about it offline? I sound too stupid in front of all these people.
No, that's fine.
Don't feel bad, Julie.
You will be humored to know that my actual paid job is tech support. So,
Well, then I need your
That's what I
number,
figured.
and I'm researching new cable television issues. Aren't we
thankfully
all?
not.
I mean, aren't we all? Because of the Disney debacle, whatever. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I heard they settled that though.
They
Disney's
did,
back
yeah.
on the channel, whatever that
Yeah,
is.
they had football today, but anyway.
Okay.
Oh, they were going to pull all the ESPN stuff. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
Well,
It
that'll
was-
cause a major crisis in America.
It
Real
was.
quick.
In my house
Take
anyway.
Take away Sunday football and you're going to have a problem.
Yep.
Lindy, I see you got your hand up.
Yeah, I guess I want to just present, I guess I'm a little bit less excited about new development in Los Osos, especially when we see urban sprawl, which again, the last project was pushing right next, into the last bit of environment that's before the state park. And I'm concerned about putting houses in places that are going to burn. And is that something that is part of our purview, or should I just say it's okay, just keep building houses and put them, in native places and destroy habitat? I guess I'm just, and then I also have a second question about our concern when a project is going forward based on an existing situation of an aging parent, say, needing, to have the house expanded for that aging parent. After that aging parent is gone, that house exists forever with the impact of new people. And so when we see large expansions, I guess am I wrong to say that that's too much? Just asking all of you.
Can I respond?
Go ahead, Molly. Yeah.
I'd appreciate it. Yeah.
So I think we have different things. Obviously, we have limitations locally on our water issues and stuff like that. But in general, in America, the way our laws and regulations are set up is like, if somebody wants to build a big house, if it meets the criteria within any county, let's just say any county in America, if it meets their county requirements, they can do it. It doesn't matter if 2 people are going to live there or a family of 7 is going to live there. People can, in general, people have a right legally to build a big house. Now, yeah, we don't like it. Maybe I don't want to live in a big house myself. And I feel like it's resource wasting, but I also rely on the county's process, because these people, these applicants, they go through a pretty big review with a lot of different departments that are all dealing with all kinds of issues. Like CAL FIRE is going to require them to do a Class A, top of the line, fire rated roof assembly, and they're always going to require non-combustible siding now. Some of these things are like just standards that are now built in to development projects. And I totally understand your frustration, but I think also we can't dictate how big of a house someone builds necessarily. I mean, maybe the coastal commission can, or the county can. They might say, well, if you have a lot that's such and such a square footage, you can put a house that's got a footprint of X, Y, or Z. But for us ourselves, I don't feel like that's really our jurisdiction. We're more like the generalists is what I feel. And we're looking at the overall community. But when it gets down to brass tacks and the details, it's these people that work for the county and work for CAL FIRE and work for the Coastal Commission that are going to sort out some of the details. So I feel like we can't really impose our belief systems on other people. We have to go through the process that is pretty detailed about, how, say, the amount of coverage of a lot, for instance, so some of that stuff is built in. And I think also we just want to keep it less, kind of more out of the personal, so that then we don't want people to, the applicants also to feel on the defensive. And I think we could improve on that area while still voicing whatever our concerns are. So anyway,
Well,
I feel like there's a lot of
concerns
aspects of the development that are not up to us, even though we would like to be able to kind of have a say in all of them.
So we really have no say in affordable housing.
Now, affordable housing, even that is a policy issue with, the county really, I'm not saying they are taking the lead, but they should be taking the lead on that. And the planners should be doing affordable housing stuff within their overall planning. But that doesn't mean that, one wealthy person that wants to build a big house somewhere on a single family residence lot, should have to do affordable housing. That's kind of not the way America really works. But I agree, I would love us to have more affordable housing, and that's exactly what we need. And that's not what's being built here. But I don't know that it's up to us we're not the ones setting policy, I guess.
And Lindy, I just want to make a comment because Julie made it, one concerns about what the house is going to look like and, the views it's going to block and stuff, which is a legitimate concern. Secondly, there's nothing wrong to put in the statement concerns about affordable housing. Not that this house not that a project has to pay for it, but just to bring it to the attention of, that people are concerned about it.
But I think, I was just going to say, Molly's correct. I mean, this is one person with their lot, and they aren't supposed to have to take on affordable housing for anybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, one person.
The
The housing development, if it's a big development like the Dana Reserve or something like that, but on a single family home, I can't see how any affordable housing issue could be put onto that at all.
Well, I guess every house that is built is and if our our sustainability goes doesn't ever meet the criteria, there will be no affordable housing because we're allowing the more expensive homes, which the county, really supports. They and then the prior project, she's not online right now, but again, they are using a cottage, and to make the income to make their payments, but yet they have the money to, remodel an entire house, make it, like whatever, 60% bigger based on, a current need. So I guess I have a hard time because I'm very more emotional, I guess, about some of these things is when I need to back off and abstain, maybe.
Yeah.
Just
And,
in between us.
yeah, and the comments are not are welcome, you know, to people to bring up the facts, you know, that it's a concern. I had a thing on Mitchell Drive there, you know, they on the other side they tore down houses and left one wall up, you know, and built a whole new house around that one wall.
And they were basically
Tiny
sheds.
house turned into a mansion.
Yeah, well, they're basically
Uh-huh.
sheds, like, you know,
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
shacks.
that
Yeah.
turn into a 3-story. So, you know, we say, you know, the county has this process and the county does this and whatever. The county does a lot of things that don't make a lot of sense as to.
I agree with that too.
Right, right. And
But
so,
But there is a process set up.
well, right. But could
supposed
I
to be-
finish? Wait, so could I
Yeah.
finish? So they do those things. So how do we as land use, I mean, how do we bring that to them and say, I'm not getting how a 156 square foot shed with a toilet turned into a 3-story building, or how something with 2 bedrooms and a bathroom and a kitchenette is a bedroom, the same as a bedroom. And how did this process happen where now we're just running utilities, we're buying another lot, running utilities into the original house and saying that's a bedroom when it's a 2-bedroom home? So how do we, I don't know if Larry or Julie or you guys, how do we address county about that? Like, this doesn't sound right.
Yeah, as a land use, we should have like an addendum added on with our comments when we see these projects. My concern with the prior project was it's designed to be turned into another residence, and it's designed to hold a lot of people. 2 separate entrances, you know, it's not a single family residence at all if you have one entrance to one part of the house and the other front door to the other side of the house. So anyway, maybe that's what we can do, Larry, is just voice our concerns and have them added into the approval.
That's all I can see, you know, because technically and legally they have a right to do that, you know, as long as they meet all the rules and regulations that are set forth by the county and the Coastal Commission and everything else, then they have to abide by them.
Right.
And if they
In the case of that cottage, that doesn't go along with regulations. That is not a regulation homestay, according to the ordinances. So what do we, you know, it's like, what do we do with that?
So
It's
turn
not-
it
at
into
the
code
same time-
enforcement. If it's, I don't know how they got something called a homestay / whatever it is on their permit. That's a strange description. But once the county issued that strange description, I don't know how you take that away.
But just a homestay, because that's a rental. Are you
Well,
talking about the
I
homestay
think she rents it out. She can't rent it. I don't think is she renting it for a weekend?
She's renting it on VRBO.
Yeah, but I
Yes.
think it's 30 days at a time.
No.
No, she did get a license. It sounds like she was in that case, the applicant had started working on doing a vacation rental
Yes, I remember
application.
I remember that.
But then it was during the time when the folks here were working on a vacation rental ordinance for Los Osos. So there was some kind of I wasn't involved, but I wasn't around at that point. But it sounds like there was some possible compromise of the county telling her, or maybe she proposed it as a homestay, and they said, okay. Because I think that cottage was permitted when it was being kind of rebuilt from whatever little cottage or whatever little shed it was before. I remember seeing a permit number on that building. But yeah, it's not even physically attached to the house. So it doesn't meet the actual I went through and read the requirements this afternoon of a homestay, and it doesn't meet it at all, but the county approved that for them, so I don't know.
Now we're stuck.
Well, and here's
Yeah.
the issue with homestays. I mean, to me, it looks like the county's doing this on purpose. It's like, okay, we gave you your 50 or 55 VR limit, but there's unlimited amount of homestays. And if you look through some of these homestays, they're sheds, they're cottages,
I've seen.
they're handing out permits and they're not checking.
I
So
haven't seen
Doing any
sheds being
inspections, I don't
permitted.
think.
I
wait, I
see
didn't hear
sheds
what Molly
being-
said. Wait,
Oh,
I didn't
sorry.
hear what Molly said.
I don't believe they involve inspections. I mean, unless maybe somebody calls and complains or something, but I saw one that was in a garage, illegally converted garage.
Right.
Doesn't even go through the house, you
So
know,
does
but
it- Molly, what you saw was a converted garage. Was that a permitted homestay?
no.
Okay, so that's the problem. A permitted homestay has to meet the test. Clearly, this cottage didn't.
They
But
don't.
sheds and stuff on Airbnb, I've seen them too. And Airstream trailers, that
Right.
stuff should not be. Those are code violations.
Right. But
So
they
that's
are
a
giving
separate
them,
issue.
Julie, they are giving them permits. I happened onto this list from Visit SlowCal.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, I was looking up the name of somebody. I'm like, oh, look at this. And I started checking these addresses and I'm like, that's not a homestay. That's a cottage. It's being advertised as a cottage in a backyard.
Oh, that was my
There's a lot
question.
of them.
Okay, well, then
Who wants to spend the time having to go through and going, okay, this one's not, this one's not, this one's not, this, I mean,
yeah.
it's really
Well-
unfair of the county not to check. They should have someone go out and check before they give a homestay permit.
And they told
Basic.
us that they hired a huge, a 20% increase in code enforcement in order to monitor these vacation
Yeah,
rentals,
I don't know if
homestays,
that
et cetera.
is
So,
happening. I know from the Tacker homestay permit, they required, the plans and it had to be attached and all the things that you're talking about. So I don't know how somebody's shed gets approved.
They've got them. I mean, there's ones with kitchens or bedrooms converted to kitchens. There's separate entrances. There's blocked off hallways, all sorts of things that
Yeah.
are getting passed as homestays that aren't following the regulations.
Then what we need to do is talk to our supervisor, Mr. Gibson, and his helper, Mr. Blake. Go to him with these issues that we're having. Go to the source. Go to the people that.
I
So
guess
that
those are the people that are doing it.
Well,
yeah.
I just don't know how that's happening. Can I make a comment on the affordable housing? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Molly made a good point about the process. The zoning for the most affordable housing is multifamily. That is actually the largest category of undeveloped land in Los Osos. Are you living there, Jacob?
I'm pointing to my head because it's where I live. I live in that zone. I'm
Okay,
out back
well-
of Ralph's.
Ralph's, yeah. So not just there, but all along Palisades and that area is supposed to be multifamily housing. And until we see the Coastal Commission and the water and the habitat and the county and everything, once all those pieces move together, that land will be expected to be developed into multifamily housing.
But because it doesn't make a profit for most developers, it will never come to fruition.
Well, you can't make people build and not get paid for their buildings. They're not going to build and go broke.
Right.
So
But that's just the reality. It's not going to happen. If
no
they
one
can-
will do that. So
Right.
either, in Either we expect government to build it, or things like people's self-help housing to build it, but that's all being, lots of grant money, which also comes from the government. So I think it's a conundrum, but until the resource issues are resolved, we can't even tell someone to try to build it, try to develop it. And then what's happening as far as influx of people into a large house, that we have less people living in Los Osos than we've had over the years. It's gradually going down because the affordability is not there and the children aren't here. And so if we do have affordable housing, we might have more kids, and then those that are developing are paying school fees, traffic fees, they're paying all the other things for infrastructure to have their home, while we don't have any influx of multifamily to put the children in the schools that those fees are paying for. So
Right.
it is a conundrum.
We may not have more residents, but we have a lot more visitors than we used to have. So I don't know on a daily.
Not just Los Osos though.
Oh no, I'm just saying that.
Cambria is a zoo.
Right, I'm
Pismo
just saying.
is a nightmare.
I mean, that's all over the county.
It's all over California, and
right.
a lot of second homes.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I mean, there's been lots of second homes here. One other thing I wanted to bring up too is with these guest house / offices, studios / whatevers that are being put on these adjacent lots with the utilities being run in there. They're handing out ministerial permits over the counter. They don't come to LOCAC. There's none of this discussion, which is great, about the view, the fire, the water, the whatever. And it doesn't have a coastal development permit.
Doesn't have to, because it meets the test that Molly was
well,
talking
the
about.
test that the county has decided, but yet the coastal commission.
Well, that's our LCP. That is what we've adopted. The county has adopted.
Right, but it's not, the new LCP is coming up, and it's not been, there's amendments going to be put into that, and hopefully.
But it's not going to move the line from what's an appealable area.
No, but it could, it's not the zone. I mean, some of these are going in the appealable zone, or they're being given permits for them in the appealable zone.
I haven't seen
that's an argument too. Some will say the entire coastal zone's appealable. Others say it's only the appealable zone.
That's the county.
The problem is they're being given a permit basically like your fence or your shed, and they're 2-bedroom homes with bathrooms, kitchenette, wet bars with no input. I mean, they don't go to planning commission. There's no notification of neighbors, none of that. And I think that's an issue.
And I think that the worst part about the ministerial is it's almost impossible to find them unless you really want to go through, these lists. It's very disorganized. I think the county's system has gotten worse. The more money they put into it, to the tech improvements, the worse it's gotten. It's not user friendly anymore at all. And I'm not an idiot, but the more I try, the more I see that it's just not even accessible half the time.
Well, and a lot of the attachments you used to find, you don't find the attachments anymore.
Right. Nothing simple and easy, and it was all there. Now you have to go through these other things that make it very difficult to look at a project in its totality. So it's frustrating. But that's our county, and that's who we're, trying to, work with. But at the same time, I have a lot of issues that aren't answered, and I don't think going to Bruce Gibson and getting him to help, because he's pro-growth, and that's just the way it is.
Well, even if it is pro-growth, I mean, it still should be there. I mean, is that something land use can do as a group? Say, we really like to be able to get to, some of these things aren't on the site. And it's not just these links that Larry has said. You go into the EnterGov thing and try to look things up, and there's no attachments. So anyway, it would be good to be able to see that. It should be all out there and transparent.
It
I
used to
agree
be a
with you.
lot more transparent.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the
Dave and
conversation.
Bev.
Dave and Bev have their
Dave
hand.
and Bev. Yes. There, asked to unmute.
Dave?
Okay, here I
And then
go. It's
Bev.
Bev, sorry. I'm so
Bev.
lame at this. Anyway, I read in the Tribune about this new process that they're using in the county to sort of speed up permits. You maybe read it too. And the article, the fellow who was teaching the county how to do this referred to it as like karate, you know, when they're trained to get through a certain stage, then they go up to the next belt or something. Did anybody read that? And do you have any information about that new process of reviewing things?
I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
And
I
that
saw,
would-
I saw it. I
That
saw it
means
and
they
I'll
may be
try to find it.
skipping steps or something, you know, of the process. The things that you folks are talking about right now that you can't get to. It's there, I don't know, it was maybe a couple of weeks ago in the Tribune. So
I saw that, but I don't know more about it.
Yeah.
There was an
That's
interesting
a-
interview on Dave Congleton's with the new CEO. And he described exactly what his process is and what his reasoning was for it and how he expects and how they're implementing it. So I think it was Thursday last week or Friday, if you can look for that podcast. It was a full
Okay.
hour of half an hour of his input and his fresh ideas and his friendship with Bruce Gibson.
Yeah.
Well, I have a comment. So I used InterGov with working for the city for many years, and it's a bear of a program, I can tell you that. And I see that the county's using InterGov for permit tracking and all that, and it's not user friendly at all.
I'm glad
why
it's not just
Why
me.
would they do that?
Yeah. Because InterGov was good at selling themselves as this wonderful company that is going to help your organization do so much better with bells and whistles galore. And they had a strong sales team. But a lot of the companies that are doing these canned programs now to manage, you know, permits and plans and all that kind of stuff, a lot of the programs are not particularly user friendly because they have these, you know, tech people, nothing wrong with IT and tech people, but these tech people who try to design a
I have
program,
stories, don't worry.
one size fits all. So they're selling the same program for managing all your county permits to organizations in California, jurisdictions in California, and then, you know, all over the country. And ours are a lot more complex than many states, not than all states, but California, you know, has a lot of
Regs.
regulations. A lot of our codes are the strongest codes in the nation and stuff. So anyway, yeah, it's just not it's not an easy program. And then they got super busy because InterGov also made commitments to organizations all over the country and expanded a lot over the last 10, 15 years. And so, you know, I don't know if their tech support ever caught up with really even providing much support for the workers, you know, who are using the programs themselves, much less people like us. So it's kind of frustrating.
Thanks for that. Makes me feel like I understand why.
Yeah, it's not just any of us. No, not us at all.
And I found out too that if you're using Apple, you also can't do you have to do some maneuvering to get to certain things too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm all Apple now, so yeah. It's hard.
As a basic tech support thing, I recommend people try Chrome at this point. Like if you're having a problem like this.
Oh, that was it too.
Not,
yeah.
Not because it matters or I'm like telling you some magic thing. It's just, it's 70% of browsers on computers now. And I'm not going to make a value judgment on it, but a lot of programmers don't test on anything else. And that's not a good thing. I don't agree with it, but it is the facts. And so I can give it as a tip to people that are having issues with some website or other, like try that basically.
Even with the Mac products. Apple
Oh,
products?
absolutely. Yeah, they don't
Oh.
care. No, the programmers are not testing on anything other than Chrome. That's
Okay. Thank you for that.
yeah,
thank you.
it's not good. I'm not endorsing it. I as a Firefox user, I'm feeling very loved. With my like 2% browser share or whatever. But that's what it is. A lot of the
Thanks for the reminder.
yeah, at big organizations and stuff like that, they often, like, once you get past a certain size, they test on everything for the same reason, because it's the opposite. You have teams with requirements and we need to support this, you know, this, that, and the other thing. Okay, like all of those things are included. But at a certain level of smallness, which is honestly a little larger than it should be, you can get stuff like that where basically they'll ship one thing out and that's great. But just in the same way that Molly commented, you know, they hit a certain inflection point in their business, and at no point did they go back and go, hey, do we have enough tech support people to support all of our new customers? Like, they don't ask that question because it's like, let me just spend a bunch of additional money I think I can save. So whatever
And
about those
they,
business decisions, but that's a little
don't
bit
they
of it. So.
don't those kind of tech companies hire people as, you know, your first job in the company might be tech support, even though you're brand new? I
Yep.
would think that must be really hard too.
It's yeah. Yeah. We even do that actually, but we train all of those people and don't expose customers. But that's not true of everybody. Just
I like that. Don't expose customers.
yeah, that's if you don't know anything about it, why would I put you in front of somebody pretending that you know something about it? That's, you know.
Wow, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
I know, it's amazing. But you know, that's how it is. They want to hire people and they're like, throw them right out. And cool. I love that people are getting jobs, obviously. But you know, the people on the other side of that are not having their best day.
It's nice if they can do the job.
Yeah.
First. Yeah.
And I don't know how well the county has restaffed itself, but they had an era where I heard it from numerous people. They were so understaffed at planning that
they still are.
They were skipping steps and people were in the learning curve, and so
And then they get hired by somebody else.
and yeah, as soon as they
They're
get
gone.
smart, they're gone.
I was going to ask, you had mentioned they had like a 20% staff expansion or something. Is that done? Like, are the hiring actions complete?
She was talking about code enforcement. They threw some money at it to
Code enforcement. Yeah, they
code enforcement. Got it.
put money there, but not on planning.
Got it. Thank you.
Anyway.
This has been a good conversation. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think sometimes we really don't have a chance to, you know, compare notes, and everybody knows a little or they don't know. So, but yeah.
Knowing that you don't know is incredible.
At least admitting that you may not know is helpful. You don't have arrogance. Yeah. And thank you, Julie, for helping get the agenda stuff together. It's
I
mean, we can see how complicated
embarrassed that it didn't work this time for me for those links, but
now we know how to do it.
Well, Jacob, again, stay on
Holler,
the
we'll play
line.
with it.
I want to have your direct email and maybe your phone number for next time.
Mm-hmm.
So stay there and let me know what it is, or send me an email.
Do I have your email? I might have your email. I can just email it to you.
I don't know if you do. I don't think I only get. I don't think I've seen your email because we're getting it. I get the land use group email, so it doesn't show me. Maybe it does.
Should be in there.
I have it.
He should be in there.
You're JM Tacker.
I am.
Okay. Yeah, I have it.
I have a question with this Los Osos corridor study. Are we as land use going to, I mean, are people planning, is everybody here planning on making suggestions, or are we, I know on LOCAC, the whole group looked at things, but are we going to?
I think we're all invited to comment. So we
Mhm.
have to
But
go
not as a group
individually,
first.
look at it and then put our comments and they'll be added in general. But I think as a group, we could, if we wanted to take the time, but
Well, and won't the transportation group subcommittee be giving input too?
Probably.
yeah, I think-
Yeah.
yeah, they're presenting and then I think they're asking us to, anybody in the community that wants to input.
Yeah, it would have been nice if they included more of Los Osos Valley Road. You know, I work out on Jacaranda out there. I mean, there has been multiple fatalities. We just had
Yeah.
another accident with a girl that's in a coma, and I mean, there's quite a few people that live on that road, and it's so dangerous. You're trying to turn left and people are illegally passing, and I don't know if we could. I was thinking of suggesting, could we do that? The nursery owner has suggested to our supervisor before, and he's like, oh, it's too expensive. But it's like, how much are those lives worth? You know, we've lost
You mean
some
cameras or something like that? Or
Yeah.
what were you proposing to put in,
Well,
cameras or
no,
outside?
like some kind of an escape lane. It's
Oh.
just really dangerous because there's businesses there. There's some vacation rental type things. There's another place.
wow.
Yeah, it's like look at just the pumpkin farm and people turning it. It's like it's
Well,
frightening.
Hundreds of
that-
people going in and out.
The hill, if you're going east at sunset, it blinds you. And
Yeah, west. Yeah,
bicycles have been.
it's scary.
Bicyclists have been killed there.
I
Right.
don't ride out there
And-
during that time period for that
Yeah.
reason. Yeah.
No,
Yeah. But people are in a hurry. They're coming down the hill and you're trying to get out of Jacaranda. And then you're like, okay, I can make it. And then someone speeds past and they're in the other lane on the other side. It just would be nice if we could figure that
That
one
would be a good suggestion to, list
Yeah.
that it needs to be
advance or
extended.
expand the study.
Right. I'll have to go walk that street and knock on all the doors and say, would you like to see this expanded?
Well, like the mobile home park, they came up with their concerns of seniors trying to get in and out.
Right.
I don't know if that's included in the upcoming, I haven't had a chance to look at it, but
Yeah.
that is a big concern and, it's.
And is there going to be a meeting on that topic, or is it all just them wanting us to put our comments into their website?
They said they were gonna do outreach at the farmer's market, so they may have already done it. And I suggested that they do a town hall, cause it's a big issue and a
Yeah.
town hall would give us all a chance. They could present, the whole thing and get, community
They
input.
need
So
to do bigger than the farmer's market and the little QR codes on the,
Right.
I
Yeah.
know they're gonna put those
Was
signs
that-
up. That's nice, but
Was that
There-
SlowCog that's doing it? Yeah. Okay.
some consultant on their behalf, but I think yes.
May I say something? This is Bev again.
Go ahead, go ahead,
KSBY, it was on the news that they had done it at the farmer's market, and Dave actually was there and talked to the fellow, and I think they only did it that one Monday.
And
Mm.
Jeff Krebs got a chance to talk to him as well on the phone, because I called him up and put him on the phone with the guy who was flown out from Atlanta. It's a consulting group in Atlanta.
oh, great. Can't do anything local.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, I
one
think
of the-
they need
one
to
of
be
the people-
pushed. They're just
one of
trying
the
to
people
push through
working-
their thing.
Yeah, one of the people working on it, I guess, is a Cal Poly student as well. But that's all I found out when I was down there. But it's the corridor, and we got problems lots of places around town.
It's mostly studying the corridor, which is LOVR.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to see if they're going to give us bike lanes that'll make people who aren't me not terrified to ride LOVR.
Yeah. if
I
we
learned
can
that.
get-
I went and started talking to people, and apparently I'm fearless. I learned that. I ride LOVR. I ride to Morro Bay. I don't care. I am apparently alone in that. And I did some research and found out what people's preferences are for different things, and was like, oh, okay. And it's like, you want the big bike lanes and stuff like that. It's like, well, great. That's like step one. And then you're talking about like not bike paths, but separated lanes basically for bicyclists and stuff like that. That's at the point at which you start.
That's what a lot of people that are afraid of being on a bike around the cars. If we had bike lanes that were separated from the cars, people like me would get on a bike, no problem.
Yeah.
That's
Here I thought, I'm going to ride to Morro Bay. And then I started driving that road and I went, okay, senior citizens, brand new high school drivers, giant motorhomes. That was before they wanted it. I was like, no, I think I'd rather live.
Tourists looking at the bay.
Yes, that too.
I thought everyone was nuts for trying to ride it before I did, but in my defense, I ride a 76-pound e-bike, and so if you get near me, your car will feel it.
Well, my car weighs like 1,500 pounds, so
I know. It's just that, like, if you think about it, I have drivers avoid me when I'm on a giant bike like that, and it's like having the big truck, or like, I know that's why people upsize in some situations, like they want to feel safer on the road. Fair. I'm like, all right. So I did the same thing with my bike. So I have a regular bike and then this giant gargantuan orange e-bike. And so I'm not going to say zero people bother me, but it's a lot better.
I try to avoid all you bikers.
Good.
Much appreciated.
Promise us, Jacob, promise us that you are not wearing earbuds and you are wearing a helmet.
Correct, on both accounts.
Or riding side by side with your friend.
Yeah, no.
I don't ride with anybody. They can't keep up. Don't worry about it.
How fast does your e-bike go? I'm curious. I've seen kids that scare me now.
20.
20.
Mine's California legal, so it cuts off at 20. I can go faster than that. My current speed record is 38 on LOVR.
Oh God!
You know the hill.
Recorded.
Yep, you know the hill. I know it's recorded.
I'm putting it in the minutes.
Yes, Jacob violated the law. No, I don't know if that counts actually, probably, but yeah, it was lots of fun. But yeah, no, the actual